We have a great, wholesome environment, and it always gives us an opportunity to create new relationships with strangers, people who appreciate the same things we do.
It's right on our label. We're all natural, we're wholesome.
I mean, we always talk about it. It's natural spring water. It's unfiltered, unpasteurized. It's just solid beer.
Gosh, we're growing a lot faster than we ever anticipated, which is a great problem to have.
I mean, he built our brand, he designed it. I mean, we're all familiar with our brand platform, and he will tell you that you can sum it all up into one word, and that is wholesome. I looked at all this as blueprints and decided where the vessels would go, designed this bar. I was there before we had funding. Yeah, I watched this as a slab rise from the ground. So I can look anywhere in this brewery and see the history in it. A lot of people told us it couldn't be done. You're crazy to try and do it with fire. Shannon was like, I'm doing it.
Shannon.
Love Shannon.
What kind of brought me to Shannon, because
He brings just a wealth of knowledge and experience, and he's a really great asset to the community.
I'm Shannon Carter. I am our brewmaster and president of Shannon Brewing Company. Our brewery is about brewing old school recipes and old school methodology. We brew with fire. We're sitting on a spring, and so we're all about going back to old school brewing methodology and brewing recipes that haven't been around in a while, and doing them in a wholesome and wonderful way. Well, I started playing soccer a long time ago, and I started brewing with some soccer buddies. And we got to be known as one of those teams that you didn't mind playing because we always had beer afterwards. When my dad found out that I enjoyed brewing, and he started enjoying my brewing efforts, he gave me some notes from my great-grandfather. And in those notes, I found some notes from my great-grandfather about a brewing system he built in Ireland. It caught my attention several years later when I started building a system, because he mentioned building a cart he would move from underneath his kettle back out, and I realized that what he was doing is a step temperature mash. And it just really sparked my imagination, and I wanted to know more about brewing with fire. And so from that day forward, it's all I've pursued. To our knowledge, it's the only fire-brewed brew house in the United States. We can't find another one that's both fired in the mash tun and the boil kettle.
So we fire in the mash tun, we step temperature mash in there, which is pretty old school. Well, we still step temperature mash at least 2 hours. At different temperatures, you unlock different sugars, starches, you activate enzymes, you deactivate enzymes. It just makes for a more complex beer, at least in our humble opinion. So using fire, we have to try not to scorch the wort. So we're constantly moving it. And then from there forward, it's pretty similar, at least in the manufacture of wort.
It's an excellent flavor profile for a lot of people that are switching from macro brews and heading into micros and specialty beers. This is definitely a really awesome product for that journey, because they don't try and scare your palate with these crazy flavors.
We're just trying to make sure that our brews are consistent from batch to batch, because if they're consistent from batch to batch, then you as a customer will have no change in your flavor profile. The beer you get today will be the same beer, tomorrow, and then you'll always come back, right?
One of those things where we have a ton of good beer, so it's why not try everything? And also, the hard part is I like everything, so it's okay, what am I in the mood for right now? Do I want the cream ale, then do I want to have a red because I want something a little bit sweeter? Or do I go back to the chocolate stout because I want something heavier and dark? It's a hard choice.
We think fire gives us a caramelization in our sugars that you can't get with superheated steam or electricity, which are the alternatives. We decided to build the brewery in Keller because of Samantha Springs. Samantha Springs is a natural spring. It's located about a half-mile north of the brewery.
We looked at locations in Euless and downtown, and we'd have had to have the water trucked to us, and they'd have had to treat it with fluoride and chlorine, and then we'd have had to turn around and take it right out. So like all the old school breweries, Guinness on the St. James, Newcastle on the River Tyne, everyone brewed to their water source.
Beer's 90-95% water, and so brewing with this magnificent spring water is a pretty good place to start.
We really participate in community events. Keep it in Keller is a motto that we always use. You know, if we can get it from Keller, we're going to. Community's super important to us. They do a really good job of participating in military functions. They've done a lot of events like that. They helped raise a bunch of money for a wounded warrior.
We're very much grounded in the local community. Most of us live in the area as well, so we take pride in giving back to the community. We work with the Lions Club a lot, and through those contacts, we develop a much, I guess, more wholesome way of doing business and foster much better relationships with the local community.
Keller's been great to us. The community's been great. They've been very accepting from the people of Keller to the city government. They've gotten behind the brewery and just they're fans. They're here, and that allows us to be a focal point for the city of Keller. Arlo, come here. He does have a role. He's our protector. He's our mascot. He's our doorbell. So anytime someone new comes to the brewery, he'll bark and let us know someone's here. But on any given day, you know, any day we're open, he just goes from person to person looking for, you know, snacks and pets. Certainly just a huge part of the brewery.
Right now we're at a crossroads, and I can't tell you which one looks more attractive, but there's definitely more growth in the future for us.
Do we get picked up and be distributed by a large distributor across the Metroplex and beyond to other distributors? Or do we continue this self-distribution model?
We're now in the craft pack, which is all Texas beers that are sold in a pack together, and those are in Austin and Houston.
Since I've been here, I've seen us expand out. We're into Kroger's now. We've got a distributor. We're a brand new canning line back there, which you get a shot of. We can package 4 times the amount of beer on our canning line in the same amount of time it took us to do bottles.
How do we want to grow? We want to grow organically. I think that we'll stay in Texas. We want to own our own backyard before we go much further out. We're pretty happy right where we are. Word wholesome means to me, it's as it applies to our brand and our company, it means it describes our product, our process, the ingredients we use, but it also describes how we treat each other and how we treat our vendors, our customers. It's our litmus test for how well we're doing. We ask ourselves every day, what's the wholesome thing to do, whether it's brewing or treating someone with respect, and how we would want to be treated. And so it's our golden rule.